Ninja Commandos, Psycho Soldiers, and if you had this console, you were truly a hot dog on this episode of Check It Out. So welcome back, guys, to another episode of Check It Out. I'm your host, Xander Skullion, where I talk about some games that you guys should be playing and even have some recommendations from viewers like you with our 1 minute crunch. This is going to be another dedicated episode, and this time it's going to be all about the NEO GEO. Rather, you grew up playing on the big red cabinet, or if you were lucky enough to have an MVS or endless compilations and downloads, there's a lot of great games. So without further ado, let's get into it. Magician Lord, an SNK title that single-handedly proves that arcades are there for entertainment and taking quarters. Always had some trouble with this title because frankly it's pretty difficult, but on the other side of the coin, I truly love this game. You play as a magician trying to recover the magic tones from the evil one named Gal. Throughout the stages you collect power-ups, alter beast style, and transform into various beasts. Now, your character, his attack is normally pretty weak with a very short range of spells, so this is a must-do while playing this game. The best thing is this game's widely available from digital downloads on modern consoles to even compilations on the 7th gen. If you're a fan of Ghouls and Ghosts and Rastan, this title is worth checking out. 8-Man. 8-Man is based off of a Japanese cartoon series from the 1960s. It's a very unique title because it's not your standard beat 'em up or fighter on the SNK, but it's almost like a fast-paced on-rails 2D side-scroller. The game goes by extremely fast. In fact, 8-Man reminds me of a strange cross between Ninja Spirits on the Turbo Duo and Sega's multi-platform Shinobi series. This game is a bit short though, and even though the levels are broken up into several sections, the game still only takes about 30 minutes to go through. The bosses are interesting, and some may feel recycled, but I digress. This is a title I do recommend, and something to play to clean the palette of your usual SNK NEO GEO catalog. And now is that time for 1 minute crunch.
Hey everybody, I am the NeoTurboManiac, and today's featured game for the 1 minute crunch is Far East of Eden Kabuki Clash, released for the NEO GEO in 1995. This is a weapons-based fighter which takes elements from Samurai Showdown and adds a few extra twists. Like in many fighters, each character has an assortment of special moves along with magical attacks that dish out serious damage. As an added layer to the combat, weapons can be thrown at your opponent. To aid you during battle, a Tengu flies across the screen carrying a box which can be knocked open to reveal power-ups like extra strength, speed, defense, health, and magic restoration, but also power-down items like a banana peel to slip you up, or a poisonous bottle which paralyzes the player. These items can also appear from attacking your opponent. Kabuki Clash features a cast of colorful characters with wacky animations and humorous dialogue in between matches. To add to the comical nature of the game, the backgrounds are very colorful, detailed, and full of life. Comical themes are always fun in my opinion because it's not taken too seriously. The soundtrack has upbeat tunes, and the combat moves at a steady pace and is easy to learn. The game is not too difficult until you get to the very end. Kabuki Clash is one of the lesser known fighters for the NEO GEO that is fun to play, so I recommend you give it a try. The best way to play this game is on emulation. Now back to you, Xander.
Psycho Soldier. If you've played the King of Fighters series, then this character might seem familiar, but in fact, she had her own game before fighting Terry Bogard, and this is actually a sequel to the ever-frustrating game called Athena. Psycho Soldier is a side-scroller and incorporates features such as collecting items to make Athena stronger, defeating enemies by firing projectiles, dodging and destroying obstacles, and even defeating gigantic, insanely nasty, cheap, in-level bosses, something SNK has been known quite well for. Throughout the game, Athena can collect types of orbs that will help protect her from enemies, and she can even launch them, clearing up hordes of monsters in one shot. Just like the original game entitled Athena, the enemies are constantly spawning out throughout the game, but it plays pretty smooth and has a nice feel to it, something the original Athena game lacked. A little fact to know about Psycho Soldier was this is the first video game ever, yes, ever to incorporate vocals into a game. The song is pretty catchy when you can get past the muffled singing. You can actually replay this game now on the SNK collection on the Nintendo Switch and soon the PlayStation 4. Definitely check it out. Ninja Commando. It's 1992 and ninjas were the flavor of the period, and I'm not complaining. You play as 3 different characters, and some even made cameos in other games like World Heroes. While the gameplay is very much like every other SNK top-down shooter like Ikari Warriors, you have 3 different commandos with their own weapon and special attacks. The faster you jam on the fire button, the bigger your attack becomes. The gameplay is pretty straightforward. Blow up anything and everything in front of you to reach an end boss. Items such as food and power-ups, as well as a few weapons can be found along the way. Also, collecting coins will replenish some life and at the end of the stage as well to add to your score. It's a classic 2-player co-op, and that's where this game truly shines. It's also widely available and also noted a pretty affordable MVS cartridge if you're someone who's wanting to start to collect for the NEO GEO. First off, I want to give a big shout and a huge thank you to NeoTurboManiac for talking about Kabuki Clash, which I have to admit, I've known about Kabuki from the Far East of Eden series, a series that I still have not dived into myself, but I had no idea he actually had his own fighting game on the NEO GEO, and it looks pretty good. It has that Samurai Showdown kind of flavor to it. Definitely check out his channel. It's going to be on the link on the description below. And if you guys have a 1-minute crunch, if you have a game that you want to recommend, be sure to email us at xsgamingpodcast@gmail.com. Again, that's xsgamingpodcast@gmail.com. Anyway, guys, as always, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and as always, happy gaming.
Neo Geo, Neo Geo. 4 white buttons and 2 joysticks. Neo Geo, Neo Geo. Cool red cabinet, name that stick. Neo Geo, Neo Geo. 4 white buttons and 2 joysticks. Neo Geo, Neo Geo. Cool red cabinet, name that stick. No one quite did 2D fighters like you did. No one quite did running and gunning like you did. No one quite did puzzle bobble like you did. A lowest of my 4-slot model, 'cause I